I didn't realize I was an introvert until I was in my 30s. That probably sounds strange because most people assume introverts know they are introverts, but I didn't. I understood the idea of introversion and extroversion. I understood that people existed somewhere on a spectrum, but because I had always been good at communicating at work, good at showing interest, at appearing engaged, I assumed I must be more extroverted than I really was. Then in my 30s, I had to undertake a psychological test as part of an interview process. And when I read the report, something clicked. It described things about me that I'd never really put into words before. My need to recover after a large work event, my need for quiet after an intense meeting, the way I could perform well in social and professional situations, but still feel completely drained afterwards. It wasn't that I disliked people. It wasn't that I couldn't communicate. It wasn't that I was shy, unfriendly, or disengaged. It was that the energy cost of being on was much higher for me than I had realized. And now, as I've become older and, may I add, postmenopausal, that energy cost feels even higher. The persona I have to wear at work is not fake exactly. It's still me, but it is the most polished, responsive, socially available version of me. The version that listens carefully, asks the right questions, follows up, keeps things moving. And that version of me takes energy, a lot of energy. So the obvious question is, why can't I just be my quiet self at work? Why can't I just do my job calmly, quietly, and without all the extra performance? The answer is because of the type of role I have. I'm an organizer. I'm the person who has to engage with multiple stakeholders across projects. I gather information, make sense of it, synthesize it, and turn it into something useful. And to do that well, I need relationships across a large company. I need people to answer my emails. I need people to trust me enough to share information. That kind of work requires communication, it requires visibility, it requires diplomacy. And for an introvert, it can feel like spending the whole day slightly outside your natural self. I have often thought, especially as I've gotten older, that perhaps I should have been an accountant or a programmer or someone who could sit quietly in a corner, do focused work, and not be so front-facing all the time. That is not a criticism of the work I do. It's just an honest reflection on the mismatch between the skills I developed and the environment my personality probably needed. Much of my earlier career was in customer service. I worked in a call centre. I led a team. We took inquiries. We handled complaints. And I remember being good at it, but I also remember hating it. At the time, I don't think I understood why. Now I think part of the reason was that I was acting, not in a dishonest way, but in the way many people act at work. I was playing the part the role required. Calm voice, helpful tone, professional patience, all useful skills, all valuable skills. But when that performance goes against your natural temperament every single day, it becomes deeply draining. And I wonder sometimes how different my career might have been if I had received better career advice when I was younger. Not just advice based on what I was good at, because being good at something does not always mean it is good for you. I wish someone had helped me understand the difference between ability and fit. And I think many of us build careers around what we can do, rather than what allows us to stay well. So here I am now, older, experienced, capable, and still in a role that asks me every day to put my introversion in the cupboard for that day, to walk into the office as the engaged version, the responsible version, the available version, and then at the end of the day I take my introversion back out again, usually when I'm sitting on the train. That is when the quiet self returns, and I don't think this is talked about enough. The workplace often rewards the visible, the confident, the energetic, and the socially fluent, but there are many quiet people holding organisations together, people who are not loud, but are deeply observant, people who do not need the spotlight but notice what others miss, people who may appear calm and capable while privately counting the hours until they can be alone again. So if you are an introvert in a front-facing role, especially later in your working life, I see you. And if you have spent years being good at something that quietly exhausts you, I understand that too. Sometimes the hardest part of work is not the work itself. It is the version of ourselves we have to become in order to keep doing it.